Go fund me to get me an actual tripod, because this is a selfie stick in a jar of rocks. Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Just kidding, it's not a place. It's a cat. This is Princess Pudding Soup, if you didn't know. Oh, such a performer. A couple people have asked me to do a tutorial on how to do eyebrows. Because as we all know, this in the year of our Lord 2020, eyebrows are the personality of the face. Eyebrows are the personality of the face. I'm not a professional, but I do okay. I do an okay brow. I am what is clinically called melanin deficient. By that I just mean I'm a ghost. And as such, I don't have a whole lot in the way of brows. Oh, I also want to acknowledge the elephant in the room. What? Come on. I am a skin picker. I pick my skin. And so this was once a teeny tiny, couldn't even notice it, blackhead on my lip line, and of course I just decided to, guess I'll just edit this out. Done with this shit. Yeah, so yeah, no, I'm a skin picker, and I turned it into a fucking wound. Okay, so as I said, I don't have a whole lot. I shaved off the tail. So if you have shaved brows, this works for you. If you don't have shaved brows, maybe, I don't know. I'm going to show you two different ways that I do them. The first way I'm going to show you is like with like a gel, with like a pomade. So this is like everybody's holy grail. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills. Ooh. Just kidding, it focused. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in Caramel. And I use that with one of these little angled brushy doos. So let's get to it. So yeah, I dip into it a little bit. You dip into the dip brow. And you don't want to use like a crazy amount, but like, we don't care about looking natural. We care about looking snatched in this household. I start like with the sort of tail, because that's what I want to be most pigmented. Like, you want it to be darker here and like more blended here. It's, I guess, the way to do it. And so I start sort of like at the bottom of my brow here, and I just, because I like mine to be quite arched and straight, I just kind of flick it out in a sort of straight line, like so, like that. And then I go to the top of like my sort of arch right here, which I don't know if you can see, I've got a little bit of a, then I go and I just join those up like that, and I just go ahead and just fill in that tail. That's the hard part. You just gotta fill this bad boy in. Now you might be saying to me, Joey, I don't have an arch. I don't have a little thing to tell me where to go. And I tell you, that's no problem. That's not a big deal. We can deal with that. We can live our lives. And so I will actually show you on this side something that you can do. So a long time ago, back in the days of Cosmo, when we were reading all of the sex tips for the sex we were not having, they came up with like a sort of rule of like where your eyebrows are supposed to start and end. So it's like, if you do a straight line from your nostril, that's like the beginning part of it. And if you do, and then you just leave that on the nostril, and you just sort of like angle it through your eyeball, and that's where like the peak of your arch should be. And then you line your nostril up with the edge of your eye, and so it's like chuk, 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 and that's the size of your brow. Sure, if you like a guideline, if you like rules, go with that. But I say, do what you want with your body. That is a Lady Gaga quote. We don't acknowledge R. Kelly in this household. And so if you don't have an arch and you're like, I'm not really sure the best way to do this. This is a like a little trick that I did when I was starting out. Is I would find where I wanted that like pointy arch to begin. So let's say I want it here, and I would draw literally a straight line like this. Let's zoom. Don't fall over. Maybe I need a tripod. Who's got the money for that? Is this focused on me? Yeah, I guess it's as focused as it's gonna be. So yeah, I just like do a little line like that, and then you would do one at the front too, and then you would join those bitches together, and it would be like the same thing. If you wanted it to end like here, then you would and then just like fill it in. Full out on. Let's well, I guess I could keep you this zoomed. So yeah, that's if you don't know where to put the arch. You can just do a little guideline here and then continue on from there. I feel like I'm explaining this really badly. I feel like I'm like that meme where it's like, draw 2 circles and then draw the rest of the fucking owl. But it's really what sort of like suits your face. And so I haven't redipped in product. I've kind of stayed with the leftover that I have, because you kind of want it to be more feathered, I guess, as you get towards here. It'll give you more of a natural look. So I do have like a decent amount of brow hair here. So I'm not doing a lot of like hair-like strokes. But if you're a person that has 0 brow, you might want to throw in like some strokes. I'm just darkening up this tail here so that, because there's no hair in this section, I actually put quite a bit of product on the tail so that it looks like I have hair there, darling, even though I don't. So like, yeah, if you have no brow hairs, you can turn your little brushy straight up and down and do like very sort of like fast little flicks to give you the appearance of more hairs there. Alright. So that's kind of it. That's kind of the shape. We'll take it. Ooh, shit. At that point, I usually spoolie it out. So I take like a clean mascara spoolie or an eyebrow spoolie. This is just like one that came on the end of this like NYX pencil. And I especially just like brush through right near the front, because that'll blend in, so it's not like you've got like Sharpie brows on. And I do less of that over here because I don't want people to know that this is Sharpie brow. It's like it happened like this. Don't message me, I'm busy. Filming this on my phone is very frustrating because people are like, hi, hello, and then my camera's like, I don't need to be doing what you're doing. You've got people sending you memes or some shit. So just giving it a good little brusheroo. Great. And so if there's any parts that you're feeling aren't as like pigmented or whatever, you can go back in. I realistically, I don't re-dip into the product very much because I don't want it to get too sharpied. You could stop here if you like, but if you want to really give them the juice, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take another almost identical angle brush, or whatever small teeny brush you have. And you're going to take your concealer. I am very much almost out of this concealer, so I'm like dipping this like way in underneath the sponge and being like, oh, please give me some. Give me some. And then you're going to clean up the business here. Give it that sharp, sharp line. So you have brows sharp enough to kill a man. That's the goal. That is the goal. I want men to look at me and burst into flames. It's yet to happen, but I'm sure it will. So I'm just brushing that concealer on. So you can see it gives me that, oh, so sharp, so sharp, so sharp, so sharp. And then sometimes I need to like sharpen it up over here too, so I'll just go to the like the top of the tail. The top of the tail, the teeth, and the lips. Wow. There we go. That's a brow. That's a brow. It's a brow. It's a brow. It's a kadoozy. Is that a dessert? A kadoozy? If you want to go in with like a little teeny tiny micro pencil to give more of a hair-like look here, you can. Honestly, I don't bother because I'm lazy. And my approach to makeup is the same way Monet approached painting, which is like, it could be a big mess when you're up close, but as long as it looks good when you're far. Yeah. Then I usually go in with like some kind of brow gel, just to really make sure that all my brows are, all of my brows, all of them, all 50, just to really make sure that they're staying in place. So I've got a couple different brow gels I use. I have like a Sephora brand. It's just a clear brow gel, and then I also have the Milk Kush Fiber brow gel, which is really great if you want to just like look super, super natural. Whatever. Just kidding, don't do that. That forces air into it. You're supposed to like swirl. I learned that from a girl in my 11th grade English class. What's up, Kara? What are you doing? Was it Kara? I don't know. So this is my little trick, is I like to brush towards the front, like straight up. So it gets this sort of like, can you even see? God damn. This little like bit of a fluffy look up there. Cara Delevingne whom. And then the rest is just to make sure that none of these scraggly little bitches step out of line, you know? Not gonna waste all your time fleeking for them to be like, yeah, so there's one brow. That's with the pomade. I am now gonna show you the other way I do it, which is with a powder. And this is what I usually do. Sometimes if I'm doing a look that I want like a different colored brow, I will do like, you know, with like a purple or whatever. I just do it with an eyeshadow. Originally I was going to do this in like the shade that I sometimes use for my eyebrows, which is this very old, very dusty MAC single shadow in Saddle. It's just a great color for ginger babies. But I figure it might be nicer to like show you if I use like some kind of wild color, like it'll be easier to see. So let's do it in this like hot pink here. See if we can manage it. If you have very dark brows, and you want to do it this way, you're gonna have to like conceal your brows or lighten them up or do something. I don't have a whole lot of pigment, as we've covered, so I can usually just go crazy with it, go wild. So I'm using this brush. It's another basic angled brush. I have so many of these because I used to do my eyeliner with these brushes, and then I got better and I found Jesus and I started using liquid liners like a civilized human being. So this is a Sephora Pro Brow Precision 20. This bitch is ancient. This bitch is like, I can feel her coming apart at the seams. I got her, I think, when I was in university. Good job, Bessie. So what I like to do is I like to give her a little lick. Just get her nice and primed. You can use a setting spray. You can use like some kind of mixing medium, like I have the Inglot, what is it, Duraline, if you want to. I just use my spit because I'm disgusting. And also, like, I'm pretty sure that's what drag queens do. Who gives a shit? Obviously, if you're doing somebody else's eyebrows, you won't want to do that. Unless you want to give them the Ronies. The Ronies. Which is what I call COVID-19, just so we're clear. It's the Ronies. So yeah, I'm just gonna, with my little spit brush, get in there, get like a decent heft of powder. I'm gonna tap it off, and then I'm gonna do this same sort of technique. I'm gonna start at the tail, and I'm just gonna give her a bit of a straight line, go to the top of the arch, and then join it down into like a little bit of a triangle. Now, as you can see, because it is a powder and because it's very dry, it's gonna take a little bit more time to build it up than it is for the Anastasia Beverly Hills. And so that's fine. We'll just keep getting some more powder and just building up that color slowly and surely. Relicking if we got to. Relicking. You heard it here first. I may have been too hasty. I may have said my eyebrows are too light to interfere with this color, and I may have just told an outright lie. But that's okay. See, the powder is going to naturally diffuse more than the gel will. So you can be a lot more aggressive with how much you're putting on the brush. Because naturally the powder is gonna wanna, like, I don't know, what's a science? It's gonna be like, fuck you, I don't wanna stay in your face. I'm gonna have to bleep that, aren't I? I should think of a funny sound to bleep out swears. And again, once I get to like the sort of front, that's when I switch to doing it kind of like up and down like hair strokes. Is a bit light. Is a bit light. Oh, it's decently covering once I really give it the juice. See, let's have a little kiki about brow shape, shall we? So there's a lot of different things going around, and it really is up to your like preference what you like. I am a non-binary weirdo. Well, you know, one of those special snowflakes. And so I like to do my brows quite straight because it's a more masculine look. I like them to be straight and thick. Gentlemen, straight and thick. This is why I'm single. But if you're a fabulous person who wants a little bit more of an arch, there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't necessarily be the best person to tell you how to do that because, you know, it's not how we do it in this household. I mean, it's not turning out too bad. The thing that I notice about, like, other people's brows, and I don't generally notice other people's brows, I'm kind of like, makeup is makeup, you do what you want to do with your face, it doesn't matter, is, like, people come in for this really sort of, like, boxy look right here, and they have it as dark here as it is, like, at the tail end, and you don't necessarily want to do that unless that is the look you're going for. If you want the look like, yes, I drew these brows on. And so if you're somebody that doesn't have any brows, that like completely shaved your brows off, like by all means go full pigment towards here. But also don't make it a box. Like give it some brush strokes, give it some movement. You know, you don't have to be a cartoon character unless you like it. Then you know, you do you, boo. That's the other thing is I know a lot of people have rounded sort of like brows. Not the fashion currently. People like these squared off brows. And so you can cheat it by giving it a little bit of a corner, for sure. You can also just like lean into it. To those of us who were teenagers in the sort of like late 90s, early 2000s, we're very aware of like the tadpole brow or the sperm brow. You know, where it's like rounded here and then it goes to like a teeny tiny tail. I'm not the biggest fan of that look. I think just because it gives me like PTSD war flashbacks to like, I don't know, being in the salon at in my hometown. But I have seen it look real cute, like in like people that shave their brows, they just kind of do like a swoosh, swoosh. Yeah. Okay, so I've kind of pretty much built up as much pigment as I'm gonna get. As you can see, I maybe spoke too soon about my brows being light enough. They weren't. You know, you can see, but I don't mind the way it looks. It's okay. I am gonna give her another little lickety pop and really try and define that edge. Give me some hot good pigment. Hot good pigment. That's the name of, I don't know, somebody's sex tape. Me. That's not too bad. We don't hate it. We don't hate it at all. And again, back to the same old tired steps. I'm gonna give her a little brush, especially right here. Give it a nice like little feathered blend, a nice ombre, as the children say. Just blend out these little busy bees. And again, I'm going to go in with my brow gel. And the clear one, because this is hot pink. Doy. Don't do that. Kara taught you better. And then we'll just... And again, I'm doing the brush up because I want to see the bush. You know? I said what I said. I said what I said. I totally went in with the brow gel and I didn't even clean it up. Like an amateur. Good God, I hope my concealer comes again soon. I got some problem areas. Like my personality. Hey. You threw off my groove. Good enough, whatever. And let's clean up the business. What do you think? Brows done two ways. With powder, with love, with memes. This is how I do the brow. This is how you do the brow. I hope it was helpful and not just like, first step, decent brows. Because I don't think I'm not blessed with the world's worst brows, naturally, but certainly am not blessed with any Shaytanian brows, which, if you don't know me in real life, is a reference that will make no sense. Let me know if this is helpful, if it wasn't helpful, if you need any more clarification, if there's any other makeup tips you want to know from somebody who's, like, okay at it. If you want me to try other brow shapes, just to see how it goes, I can do that. I can do that for you. Okay. Thanks. Goodbye. Vigilant. Vigilant? Vigilant. Do you ever have those moments where you're just like, which one is it? Is it vigilant? Is it just me?